Welcome to episode 1 of the Behind the Altar series. I'm Courtney. I am the CEO of Plant Medicine People. I've been working with ayahuasca for I think over 20 years now, and I get a lot of questions from people of like, what do people who are facilitating ayahuasca see and experience when they're sitting behind the altar? So this series is here to just expose some of the wild and incredible things that we as practitioners of this incredible medicine get to experience and witness. So today I'm talking specifically about what we see, and I should actually qualify that and say what I see, because everybody sees things differently. But thanks to the incredible relationship with ayahuasca and the opportunity to merge with her magic on a regular basis, what I see behind the altar, there's a couple of things I like to emphasize for people. Number one, we have a joke in my community that it's standing room only when it comes to ceremonies. And we say that because when we open that portal and the medicine brings us into the vibration where we can see, feel, and experience the beings that are on the other side, it is standing room only because those rooms are full of guardian angels and spirit guides, animal totems, and individuals in our lives, friends and family that have transitioned or passed on, our ancestors, just all the beings of light that support this work that we do. They love the medicine because we can get into the vibration that they're in, or at least closer to it, and actually be able to see and interact with them, at least sometimes. But that is typically something that I see and experience is like, wow, look at all these beings come to support all the ones, their loved ones, in this incredible work of healing. Something else we see this pattern behind me. This is representative of ayahuasca's language, for lack of a better term. And when we work deeply with ayahuasca, we call this the grid. This grid illuminates, and the grid shows us the life force of a space, of an individual's energy field, sometimes of our own body and body parts. And the idea is that when we sing the Icaros, which are the medicine songs that are associated with ayahuasca, it brings life and light and vitality into the places in the grid that are disconnected, that are not illuminated. And so by singing and channeling these magical songs, we can put vitality and life back into these places, and I can see it come alive quite often. I'm not doing it. I'm channeling the energies that can. The individuals that's receiving that are doing the work of healing and leaning in, but man, is it an amazing thing to get to witness. So working with the grid as a whole is a major thing that we see. There's so many other things that we see. Sometimes we can see and sense illness, or the opposite of. Sometimes we can see and sense fragmented parts of somebody's soul or being. Soul retrieval is a big, beautiful aspect of doing this work. There's so many things that we can bear witness to, but my teaching says, for the most part, mum's the word. We don't actually share what we see, because sometimes, most of the time, it's not time for an individual to know what we see, because when they see it, it's time. And also because we see everything through the filter of who we are. And so who am I to assume that if I see an illness in somebody, that isn't actually a reflection of something in me? It's very easy to write a story about things that we see and experience that aren't actually intended by the medicine, but our egos tend to love to create those. So my teacher was very adamant of it's really not our business to share what we see. I break that rule occasionally with people who will allow me to say, asterisk, I don't know that this is true, but if you're asking what I'm seeing and experiencing, this is what I'm sensing, but by no means am I trying to pass that off as gospel. So that's just a little tidbit expose on what happens behind the altar in terms of what we get to see and experience. Thank you so much for listening. If you have specific questions that you would like to have answered in a future episode of Behind the Altar, please drop it below, and I will see you next time.